happened last time? It started out chaotic and it ended chaotic, and it was beautiful.
I don't find my notes, so
I
Um,
think you have said that for 3 weeks in a row.
really?
I think
Is
so.
I definitely had
Is
notes
it-
from the one before.
the right book?
Yeah. Why would I have written it in a different book? I don't have a different book. This is my only book. Oh wait, just kidding.
There you go.
No.
Starting off strong.
Chaos. Love it. Where did we leave off?
I
Yep,
usually
you go ahead. I'm still.
I usually rely on Andrew.
So- Yeah.
Oh.
I don't
I
pull
actually
it.
have, I'll say, I have pretty extensive notes from this last one. We started in a combat. The shadow had just like grabbed Elle for the first time. Team
a combat
ABBA.
with all- Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, say it was just Mrs. Q and her spiritual frying pan and Elle. And then Team ABBA was trying really desperately to get down to the library. I think Apoc got there first, but Basil and Aurora got stuck in different terrariums.
Yes. Correct.
That battle, I wrote quite an emotional paragraph about that battle, which we don't need to. Oh, I don't need to read. Anyway, with a blast of the moonbeam, Elle pulverized this thing, and then we kind of looked around the very destroyed room.
We had a seance.
Yeah, we had a seance. I think Basil and Elle destroyed some key evidence.
That was also hilarious.
Oh, we got a map too.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
I have all the questions we asked and all the answers if we need a refresher.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mrs. Q sent a flea messenger into the dean because we didn't have we have like no more spells left.
Yeah.
So we need to know if that flea made it. And then we got a map, and I think we found a way into a basement.
Yeah, we found a hidden entrance
Mhm.
through the two statues in the room. But we closed the entrance and are waiting for the dean. Right now.
We took a short rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A desperately needed short rest.
But I think
But
it is 3 a.m. So we are pushing some hours here.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
pretty
some of
sure.
us-
I'm pretty sure I'm exhausted. I think. Is anyone else exhausted?
Yes, I am.
This is cute.
Yeah.
Just the girls. ABBA's going strong.
Just hanging in there.
Great. So, as you are all taking a short rest in the lower library, the clock striking 3 a.m., despite the short rest, Elle feeling more and more exhausted with 2 levels of exhaustion, and Mrs. Q just starting to feel the weight
Fuck.
of
Yeah, I do have
yes,
2
you have 2 levels of exhaustion. The weight of the battle just kind of weighing on her old bones as stiffly she just starts to move around to get back into the motion of it. As you do, Mrs. Q, you do hear a voice kind of come through to you as you're just starting to move around, and you recognize it as the dean's voice.
Yes, the flea made it.
So I have received your message. I may have accidentally almost squished him. I'm sorry.
Jeremy.
The council may have found out that you are not currently coming back to Alderheart anytime soon, and they are asking quite a few questions. I hope you're doing all right. Quite some discoveries it sounds like you've made, but I have to keep them at bay if we are going to have some spare time for you here. Good luck. And the message cuts off.
Well, that wasn't very helpful.
What'd the dean
Says
say?
She says that she's trying to hold off the council from being upset that we aren't back yet, even though we said we would be. And apparently that requires all of her time, and she can't come and help us.
My question
She's very
is,
flustered.
why is the dean up at 3 a.m.?
I think Jeremy woke him up.
And Jeremy's okay?
Apparently, she almost squished him.
She squished them? Almost?
She almost.
Okay,
Almost.
Does Jeremy need attention?
I don't know. Maybe we should go back and see Jeremy. We could.
I think it'll work such that. Oh, is she sending me a message in my ear, or has she sent back Jeremy?
No, she's sending you the Dean, Dean Winsworth, is sending you a message similar to the way you've sent it to Basil before.
Okay. So it's safe to assume that Jeremy will make his own way back.
Jeremy will know the way back. It's kind of like you follow your nose, right?
Do fleas have noses?
Yeah. Look,
Okay.
pull one out. Here, this is what a flea looks like.
Mrs. Q puts her glasses closer to her eyes, but she still can't see anything.
What is this one's name?
Which one?
This one that you're showing us.
Oh, that's Todd.
Todd and Jeremy. Okay.
Well, there's just like
It's like
8 million of them.
name.
There's a lot of fleas as they all just coalesce and spell out the word Elle. They know your name too.
Do they all have names?
Yeah, but maybe we'll save that for another time. We could be here for a
No,
while.
I need 10 names right now.
Oh my god, Andrew, Mulligan, Shenanigans. This one's Shenanigans because he gets into a lot of shenanigans. You got Leroy, you got Steph, Eric, Georgina.
You really hit the bottom of
Andrew.
the barrel of the fleas, really quickly.
Yeah, I know.
That's
There's
only
so many
7.
countries in this world.
That's only 7.
That's only 7. Oh, because you bet I'm writing these down.
All right, this one's Andrea.
Good one. Nice improv.
Yeah. Do more.
Michelle would be disappointed.
We're going into this, aren't we?
You
Bart
said
and Lisa.
10.
Bart and Lisa.
It's the elite flea squad.
Yeah.
The elite squad of 10.
Wow.
They're not gonna last. No, they're self-replicating. Yeah.
Has anybody told them about the birds and the bees?
Yeah, but these are the fleas. These are the birds and the fleas. They're different.
Happening on your person.
Yeah, that's why there's Leroy 1, Leroy 2, Leroy 3.
Yeah.
If you look around hard enough, you can find the hatchery.
Ah.
For the rest of the trip, whenever around Apoc, we're just looking at him, we're like,
Can see them crawling through your fur.
Yeah.
Well,
What's the plan here, folks?
do we venture in?
You guys are
what do you think?
good.
This is-
Only I'm gonna warn you that I am almost out of spells.
Yeah, I'm just.
I will say that my speed is half and I have disadvantage on all ability checks and have no level 2 spells left. But let's go! I say with the enthusiasm of a 12-year-old at 3 a.m.
Not bad.
Yeah, and
Wait, you have the coffee, right? You still have the coffee, Elle?
Do I? She's gonna look around. Does she still have the coffee?
I believe you do.
Yeah.
All right, she's gonna take a hit. She rolled a 1.
No coffee comes out for the next hour.
That is the second time that happened.
You're the only one that has rolled 1s on this.
Oh my god.
okay, let's go.
All right. As you all make your way, Elle sadly looking at the coffee cup, at the coffee mug as she goes. As you all make your way to the hidden entrance that Basil had revealed last time in the folds of the robes of the birdfolk golem, pulling on or pressing into the stonework to reveal the doorway, you find yourself in a narrow staircase that just seems to descend down into darkness. There are no torches lit, and you can only really see the first 10 steps or so before it turns into pitch black. A musty smell kind of hits your nostrils as you sort of look down into the darkness. You descend.
It smells musty.
Anybody got a light?
Were there any torches in the chamber we were in?
Yep, there were some sconces along the walls.
I have a candle.
I can make the candle brighter if you light it.
Can I light it? Yes, I can light it. Okay.
I mean, you could also light it in one of the sconces on the wall.
But that's in the main room, not the stairwell.
I mean, haven't we just taken like 2 steps in?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, now I'm just holding a lit candle.
Mrs. Q casts thaumaturgy and makes the candle brighten.
Okay.
And
Have you
it's
worried
like,
about-
huh?
Go ahead, Georgina.
Oh, it has like a peachy hue. It's like kind of the color of fire, but like a little bit pink.
Okay.
Mm.
Digging that.
Sir Basil will say as we enter the stairwell that we should tread carefully. We remember that the master is somewhere down here.
We think.
Hey, Aurora, do you need a hand? As you see a large mass of fleas just coalesce and grab a hand. Like, if you want, they can hold it so you don't get your gloves full of wax.
Okay. Right.
And the fleas grab it.
That's
Thanks,
very thoughtful.
Thanks, Apoc. These are designer gloves, so wouldn't want to get them.
Right. With the fleas holding the very bright candle aloof. Hi.
Aloft.
You are. We're
Just
going with hi.
one condition: you keep shenanigans away from the candle.
All right, shenanigans go to the bottom.
You just like, oh.
And you see Jeremy fly down from the top of the stairs and he takes shenanigans spot.
Yeah, Jeremy.
God, we have a cheering section for the fleas.
Can you imagine as Jeremy comes back, all the fleas go, "Yay," and you just like yell at bus.
All right. With the candle
Jeremy's
giving
clearly the ringleader.
I should have squished him. I'm kidding. With the candle being held aloft by the fleas and the candle being brightened by Mrs. Q's spell, you are able to safely make your way down the stairs without a check, because as you continue walking, you start to notice almost a worn, cracked, older staircase leading down. Some of the chunks of the wood and stone that make up this staircase have sort of fallen away. And with enough light, you're able to safely maneuver down. At the bottom of the staircase, you find yourself in a dimly lit hallway. And in this hallway, you do actually see tiny little motes of light, almost akin to fairy lights, that almost form every so often to give enough light to see where you're going. The hallway itself, as you kind of put your arms or your hands up against it, still seems to be carved out of wood, although the wood is less sturdy, you would guess, than the wood of the avium proper, the petrified tree that the avium is carved out of. There's almost a give as you press your palm into the wall of this corridor. And as your eyes adjust to this more dimly lit hallway, Still narrow, almost like a 2x2 shoulders is what you can fit. Shoulders tight is what you can fit in this hallway. You do see that it is lined with doors. Some of the motes of light lighting up some doorways as you go. Most of the doors appear from this distance to be closed for the most part. And you do see at the very end, it looks to be one door kind of at the end of the hallway that, as you look a little closer, does seem to have a light coming from the cracks around the door. What would you like to do?
I propose we sneak up to the door and see if we can like hear anything
Yes,
from the other side.
I like that idea.
Or we split the group and go all different doors.
No.
Everyone pick a door.
Oh, no.
Let's party.
Lesson was not learned.
But everyone
All
cool
right.
with the first idea?
Who has the biggest ears? Basil?
Sure. Yeah. We approach the door and kind of just like listen in and see if like we can hear if any noise is coming from the room or yeah. Do we notice like
Can I
shifting
whisper,
light?
Basil? If you're going, I'm gonna whisper over. Be quiet, as I cast guidance on you.
Is there a keyhole?
There is a keyhole, yes. And if you are stealthing, just give me a quick stealth roll, please.
Okay.
Whoever is going to go up to the door.
Okay.
Guys, give me
Mrs. Q is going to go up and see if she can see through the key.
Okay, then give me a stealth roll.
So,
Oh, but at disadvantage, correct?
Correct.
Because I'm. Oh,
Exactly.
dear.
Can we do the thing that they do in Scooby Doo where we all stack on top of
Yeah.
each other?
I rolled a 12.
did you
I
add your
rolled a
D4?
6.
D4?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, let me look this.
so that's a 15.
Oh, nice.
All right. So as Basil kind of on light feet sneaking up to the door itself, you hear Mrs. Q shuffling what seems to be very loudly in this hallway behind you. Mrs. Q, you said you were trying to look through the keyhole. Basil, what are you attempting to do at this doorway?
Essentially like listen to see if I hear any noise coming from the room or like are there like shifting like shadows, like so from the bottom of the door do we see like people are in the room?
Okay. Just give me a perception check, both of you. So Mrs. Q to actually try and look inside the room through a very small little keyhole, and Basil just to see.
Can I whisper to them? What do your elf eyes see?
Yes.
Guidance.
Oh, thank goodness.
From both of us or
Just one of you.
Oh,
I'll go with Mrs. Q
Okay.
because I did Basil the second time or last time.
I rolled terribly. So,
10.
10? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Basil, we'll start with you. As you kind of put your ear to the doorway, you don't hear anything, don't see any movement. Mrs. Q, as you look through, it's very small, and as your eyes are trying to adjust because there is light in this room, one thing that you do notice is that you do see a table. There seems to be some books stacked on it. You see a chair kind of twisted askew from the table itself. There looks to be a wardrobe off to the side. It is a lit interior, not the dimness that you're experiencing, but it is warmly lit, bright enough. That's what you would notice with the pen.
what do we want to do?
Mrs. Q turns back around and, assuming everyone isn't standing right next to her, she like tries to get back to everybody else and says, "It looks like this might be someone's secret office. There's a wardrobe, there's a desk, there's books on the desk. and it's lit, which makes me think maybe someone is home or was home recently. What do you think we should do?
Does the book look like a Necronomicon?
Would you know
I
that?
don't know what a Necronomicon looks like.
Does it look really cool?
Andrea, does it look really cool?
Hard to tell with the 10.
Fair enough. I don't know if it looks cool. It was blurry and the hole was small and my eyes are old.
Yeah, I guess what's cool for your generation is not as cool for our generation.
Watch it, bub.
Aurora, can you floss?
Jesus.
Can I floss is the question. How well?
That's-
I'm gonna try flossing.
Give me a performance check.
Which is where I'm a Viking. That's a 15.
Yeah, you're pretty hip. You can do it just fine. You don't mess up, so that's a good thing. You don't look cool when you do it, but you can do it.
I got too much traveling gear on me.
See?
What do we want to do?
I think the only way is in. Do we ambush?
Is the door locked?
Would we know that? Could we assess that the door was locked or?
Did you see anyone?
No.
Okay, I go open the door.
Okay. As you do.
Is it locked?
No.
It's not locked.
Okay.
As you open the door, the light from this room floods into the hallway, the rest of your friends having to kind of skew their eyes as they're not used to the brightness of this. And you enter what looks to be a warmly lit study. Unlike the cracked walls and the cracked steps and the softness of the hallway walls, as you were walking down the hallway, you noticed some doors off skew as for all the other doors in this hallway. This one seems to be very well taken care of. It's clean. Although the musty smell is still there, it's not as though dust is filling your face. And as you enter the room, you see what Mrs. Q saw through the people. You see a desk with some parchment and a quill and ink. You see some books on conjuration magic. You see some books on the Scorched Grove. What look to be more like textbooks or novels, even folk tales. And the only other piece of furniture here, the wardrobe, the door sort of cracked a little bit open, but looking in almost in as though it's been repaired, as it sort of stands upright, very solid and very firm in this room. The sconces on the walls, you notice, are what is actually giving light to this room. And with the fact that it is far underground, it actually appears to be slightly vaulted, despite the small size of this study.
Mm.
You do also notice on the far side, entering in the wardrobe on your left, there is another door on your right, a set of double doors.
I grab the Scorched Grove book.
Sure, you can grab the Scorched Grove book. As you do, and you take a look at the title, this one is more of a myths around the Scorched Grove itself. So nothing doesn't appear to be a textbook so much as it is like stories or bardic tales of the Scorched.
Mrs. Q wants to sort of take a look around the desk or on the floor.
The parchments that are there.
That is not what I was going to say.
Oh, I was gonna say like what's written on them.
Okay, you can go first. That's fine.
Oh no, okay. I assume that's what you want to learn about. Okay.
I was gonna see if there was any like indication of who would be down here, like if there were any like feathers or anything left by the occupant that would give us an indication of what kind of bird it is or what kind of animal it was.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Elle, Aurora, Basil? If you want to do anything, just jump in.
Can Elle go over to Apoc and just see if she can look at the book?
Sure.
I really like stories, and sometimes there's big things in little stories that tell us how things happen, like how we are here or how the wind is here. She's not making any sense. She's really fucking tired.
Sure. I just flip to a random page and start reading.
All right, as you we'll do this one first. As you go ahead and start reading, the tale you're actually reading is about the formation of the Scorched Grove. And in this particular tale, you don't actually see, like, the author's name has kind of been rubbed out. The ink's sort of blotchy in this case. The pages are very worn, as though this book has been flipped through very, very often. The tale that you're reading is, for lack of a better word, a battle on the Scorched Grove that sort of raised the landscape itself. And the cause of the burning of the Scorched Grove is an aftermath of this battle. You don't get much from it. It's kind of the thinnest of the stories, only taking up a couple pages in this book. And as you can kind of flip around, there is a new story. And a new story. What was your investigation roll, Mrs. Q?
5.
5. This room is quite bare, with the exception of the double doors on one wall, the armoire, the wardrobe on the other. The desk is just a desk. It is, 4 legs and a tabletop at best. The quill and ink, there's nothing written on the pages of parchment that you can see outright as you sort of shuffle through. You don't get a sense of who might be here, unfortunately.
So, okay. You can tell me if I would have noticed, or Mrs. Q would have noticed these things. Is the quill sitting on the left or the right side of the desk?
The left.
Did we recognize any of the people that we had met so far? Did we see them use their hands and know whether they were left or right-handed?
Let's see.
Great question.
So you first met the dean, who I don't think wrote anything for you.
Did they open a door?
I mean, they did reach out to open doorways and secret tunnels and staircases. However, I mean, I will say you probably did not pay enough attention, considering doorways were opened after Sage was attacked. I think the only person that you would have seen is Angel, scribbling after Aurora had left Maitland with her in the lower library, and she was right-handed.
Okay.
Yeah, never Angel.
But-
Angel is a peach, to say the least.
Aurora, something you wanted to do?
I think I've heard enough stories of being in like a basement room that I would just kind of watch the exit, watch like an escape route, or like just keep my wits about me.
Okay. Just give me a perception check, general perception check.
15.
As you are watching, listening around, kind of moving throughout the room, keeping an eye on the exit, keeping an eye on what your friends are doing, you do notice with a 15, very faint, almost like the corner of your eye, you look at it and it's gone. You do notice some movement in the shadows.
Guys,
from around the double doors.
Guys, we're definitely not alone down here, and I've Well, my dad's told me enough stories of things he's done in basements that I wouldn't want to stick around to see what we might find out.
What you also notice with the 15
Big-
is, as you are keeping an eye from across the room at the armoire, you see almost what looks like a trail of smoke before it disappears. Very, very faint.
From the what?
From the wardrobe, the armoire that's on the far side. So something from the door and something from the armoire.
There's a reason why a cream floats to the top. All the shit goes to the bottom of the cup. Let's not spend too much time down here.
What a saying.
That's how you get cream. It separates. Milk goes to the bottom.
I wasn't a great barista.
Okay. Okay. I was like, wait, what?
I appreciate it.
Do we want to get out of here? Do you think we can find anything else? Or should we pick another door?
Well, there was only one door in here, correct?
No, there was a bunch of doors down the hallway.
But there's one door within this room.
Yes.
Let's all hide in a different room.
Guys, wait. I pull out the map. Which one looks like it leads to the
Oh, shoot.
biggest room?
God, I don't remember how I described the map. Okay. So the map is like a blueprint, essentially. A blueprint of the school itself. So you do know that the school was carved or shaped out of the petrified tree that is the avium now. And what you see from the golems into this tunnel, you do see the golems on the blueprint as almost a feature, an architectural feature. You don't see any indication that they were intended to hide something initially. From the blueprint itself, you do see that you do see the long hallway, the staircase you went down, the long hallway you went down, and this room. It's hard to tell what's on the other side of the doors, but the double doors appear to lead to a bigger room. Each of the doors that you passed in the hallway, some with their doors off kilter, and even just getting a look inside a few of them, it appears that some are bigger than others. Some resemble the room you're in size. And about halfway down the hallway, there is a much bigger room on either side. So if you think of the hallway as being just a tall, narrow, you're at the top, the staircase is at the bottom. There is a bigger room coming from the double doors. There are also bigger rooms about halfway down the hall. The other rooms appear to be smaller.
Okay. Might be it.
What, Apoc?
I think that's the room we're looking for.
Should I ask to see who's at the door?
Sure.
Hello?
You go to the door and say hello.
Or towards where I saw the movement.
So there was the double doors where you saw like a shadow move underneath, and the armware where you saw the wisp.
Oh, the door's closed. Sorry, I'm thinking the door was open.
The doors are closed, yes.
Okay, I'll go up to the door and knock. Hello? We know you're up.
As you knock, kind of wait for a beat and listen. What you hear on the other side of the door is a creaking bone.
Friend?
What you also hear is footsteps from the door.
Ooh.
Cool, they're coming. They're gonna say hi.
Did we all hear that, or was it just Aurora?
Mrs. Q was at the desk. Aurora was the one who actually walked up to the door. I'm gonna say it's probably just Aurora who hears this.
No, I know it's late, but we're just a couple lost souls swimming in a fishbowl trying to find our way through this place. I think I'm lost. I came from the avium.
Way to beat. Nothing.
All right. I'll just kind of wait patiently at the door.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? Mrs. Q, Elle, Basil, Apoc?
What can I do?
Elle moves and hides behind Apoc. She's freaked out.
Wait. Did they say anything back to you, Aurora?
No, it was kind of rude. Maybe I wasn't loud enough.
And
Do you want me to wait?
no, I don't know. I don't know.
Mrs. Q knocks on the door with confidence. Hello?
Is that how your generation knocks on a door?
With feeling. Once more, you hear almost like a before you hear silence from the other side of the door.
Anybody respond?
Can Sir Basil, you know how like imagine
You guys
like it's
are
like
so afraid. It's amazing.
imagine that it's like SWAT trying to infiltrate a room. Like you stand to the side of the door and you like try and push it open,
Mrs. Q has a crochet hook.
just like see what happens.
Okay. These doors are quite big, but you can be quite strong if you want. So you go ahead and just push open the doors a little bit. Do you push it open all the way?
Yes.
Without confidence.
Yeah.
As you push the doors open all the way, you walk into, or you are looking into one half of the double doors. You are looking into a larger room, 40 feet wide by 80 feet long. And as best as you can tell, it looks to be a classroom. There seem to be like blackboards lining the walls, desks that have been sort of mashed together to make bigger tables. You do see again the warm light coming from this room. It is well lit, well used, and you see 5 bird folk skeletons in the middle of the room, standing at attention, looking at you.
Hello, friends.
Do they respond?
Are they like skeletal servants?
They appear to be.
Okay.
They are stock still.
Are they standing like is there like markings on the floor and they're standing in the markings, or they're just at attention in a line?
You can make a perception check quick to see if there's anything on the floors.
My perception's terrible.
Servants of Nightseed, please explain yourselves.
You're exhausted, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I rolled a 7.
You don't notice anything, Basil. Nothing aside from what you see. You see like the chalkboards in use. As you say, servants of Nightseed, Aurora, you do see them tilt their head just a little.
Okay. They're listening.
Is there like a
us.
teacher's
If you look beyond the skeletons, you do see what resembles what looks like a bigger desk, kind of like the one that the moonbeam absolutely destroyed in the lower library, a large desk at the front. It's almost like on a little raised platform. So it would take like 3 steps up, a raised platform. And you do see at the far end of the room, what looks like a gaping hole in the wall at the far end.
Sir Basil's just gonna walk into the room and approach the skeletons.
I'll go with you.
Nothing?
I'll like cover your back, Basil.
So kind of like sword, I mean, hand on his sword, just walks in and tries to approach to get a close look at you.
I want to walk as casually as I can next to you.
Okay.
Just
As the two of you,
It's like,
as the two of you walk into the room, nonchalant, the bird folk, skeletons, the five of them, still kind of with their head tilted. Just wait. Wait.
It's okay, little friend.
Ah! And they leap out at you as you make it about 10 feet away, quickly closing the distance, and try and take a chunk out of you with their beaks. And we will need to roll some initiative.
Ooh.
For everybody, even if it's not in the ring.
Yeah.
We are going to Theater of the Mind this one.
Okay.
I tried to find where I'm supposed to go. One thing I will do, though, just try and figure out who goes first. All right. This one. Load. All right. 25 to 20 for initiatives.
20.
20 as well.
You got a 20 as well? What's your
Yeah.
deck?
My deck's pretty
What's your
good.
problem?
Basil.
Basil, what is your dexterity?
Like the larger number,
Yeah.
17.
That's him.
All right. Basil goes first. 20 to 15. 15 to 10.
Yes. 14.
14. Okay.
At this point, have they moved yet? Have they left? Or are
Yes.
they in leaping?
They are in leaping mode, about to try and like pounce on the two people who went into the room. The rest of you are still in the smaller room. Aurora, what'd you get?
5.
Okay, Elle?
9.
Too casual, folks. Too casual.
Would you let us?
too casual. Too casual.
Would you let us act together?
Sure. Okay. Basil, as you were prepared walking into the room, that initiative actually works out really well.
Yeah, it does.
As you were prepared walking into the room, the like screeching of these 5 bird folks leaping out towards you, about to raise their claws, you act first. You are in the middle of this classroom. There are desks, chairs, blackboards all around you. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm just gonna just take a swipe at whatever is whichever one is the closest to me.
Great. Okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
And I'll do 2 attacks. So first one. That's what is that? 23.
It's
And the second one is a 16.
it's
Cool. Okay. Damage will be so that's 15 damage.
all right. As you swipe into the first one, mid-air swiping through, and you actually like sever this servitor skeleton in half as the bones just kind of plunk onto the ground, unmoving after that those 2 heavy hits.
No, don't kill them. Don't hurt them. They're already dead.
All right. Oh, Basil and Apoc were supposed to go
It's
together.
okay, it's okay.
Sorry. Anything else on your turn, Basil? We're doing a quick initiative here, so Apoc, you're on deck.
This is cute.
After swiping and hearing Aurora say that, he's just gonna just stand there, kind of at the ready, and like watching the other skeletons.
Okay. Apoc, Mrs. Q on deck.
Miss Q, can you catch the candle? As you see all of the fleas take off and start forming like this little intricate weave into the mass of skeletons, covering a 60-foot area. You see them rush in, swarm the legs of them, and you almost see like the sticky residue come off of their bodies as they just shed their skins and fly back towards me. I'm going to need a dex save on a 60-foot area encompassing the skeletons. So if I can get all of them, then great.
A 60-foot? So that would include...
Oh, sorry, 20 foot. It's a range of 60. 20-foot cube.
Okay, yeah.
20
I
foot
mean,
cube.
because they're kind of mid-leap, I can say you can put it where you're not going to catch your friends. What do you need from me again?
Dex save of 12 for all of them.
Woo!
Fine, I'll roll 4 more.
No, it's up to you. It's up to
that
you.
one saves. What's the save?
Dex of 12.
That one saves. That one fails. That one fails. Okay, you got 2.
Okay, they're restrained.
These ones are restrained.
You gotta see something cool. Toss the fire into the web.
Ew.
And I'm gonna end my turn like that.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
As the skeletons kind of are, 2 of them able to avoid the flea skin stickiness, the other 2 getting caught in it. Mrs. Q, you are on deck, or you're up. Elle, you're on deck.
Would the throwing of the candle into the sticky goo be my action?
Yes, it would.
That's fine.
You gotta say something cool though.
Oh.
That's what Apoc asked.
Oh, I missed that part. Mrs. Q like takes a bit of a running throw because she has the movement, but it's more of a shuffle. But you know, that's the best she can do.
Okay.
What does she?
Go ahead.
She says, oh no, she doesn't have anything good. She just Mrs. Q doesn't know how to be funny or to be punny, so she just throws it and she says, "Take that."
Adorable. All right. Go ahead and make me a ranged attack roll. The DC is very low because it's a 20-foot area that's covered.
I realize the check doesn't matter.
Why not?
You'll see.
Okay.
Ranged attack. How
roll a d20 and add your dex. It's dex. Okay. Add your dexterity.
Which would be your
plus one. And am I rolling at disadvantage or is this normal?
No, this is normal.
That is an 18.
Right in the middle of the sticky goo. Is it grease?
No, it's web.
It's web?
It's web. It doesn't matter because the restraint goes away when you let it on fire.
I was gonna say web.
I forgot about that part. They're just all lit on fire now.
Okay, if the webs are an anchor.
Yeah.
So now we're fighting fire skeletons.
No, they take 2d4 fire damage at the start of their turn. All of them.
Yeah, the webs are flammable. Oh yeah, because I guess the other 2 are still in the web. They're just not restrained. Okay?
Well, there's no web anymore. It's just fire.
Well, the other 2 would have still caught, but I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not
That's my
restrained.
bad.
So as the web burns away, it did its one job as intended, as totally planned by Apoc, to be a conduit for the fire of this candle. And you see the servitor skeletons. They are made of bone, but you almost see the bits of web that are stuck to them just almost char the bone as they start to. Oh, sorry. As they start to like screech this high pitched squeal as the fire chars their bone. Elle, you are up. Aurora on deck. At the start of their turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Elle hasn't really moved into the room. She's followed, but just staying quite a ways back. Again, I can only travel. What's half of 25?
15.
I can only travel 15 feet. So she's gonna move like in as far into the room as she can. Yeah, there's not a whole lot she can do right now.
To give some perspective with this room, it is 80 feet long, and this battle's taking place about 40 feet into the room. So like
yeah,
that
so
point. So you can
not
like
even
just get past the door kind of thing is where you'd be. So you'd be about like 35 feet away from these guys from where this is going on.
Yeah. So even my range attack of 30 feet won't even hit anything, eh?
I'm not from here, no.
So Elle's just gonna take like her whole movement and like walk in, be like, "You got this!" And she's gonna turn to like the closest chalkboard and just start drawing.
Oh.
Okay. As you turn to the chalkboard, you're a little bit tired, but you do see that there is writing, like scribbled drawings. You can't quite. If you want, you can use your action to see if you can make sense of it this turn, if you like.
I would like to do that. She's gonna
Okay.
turn and be like, "Oh!" and just kind of start looking at everything.
Okay.
Like the scenes where like a character's looking at something, you can see all the action in the background behind her, like all the fighting.
Slow-mo going on. So you can give me either an investigation or an arcana.
Ooh, I'm gonna do arcana, but it's at disadvantage, right?
It'll be at disadvantage, yes.
Okay. Okay, I rolled a 12 and a 15, but I have a +4 to arcana, so 16.
Very nice. Okay. All right, as you are just like totally oblivious and distracted now as to what's on the chalkboard, what you see are calculations. You see runes, and this was arcana, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. You see what you recognize as conjuration runes, kind of sketched out, some in circular patterns. You see where some have been scratched out of the pattern and lines drawn to others. And you do see a very rough looking map of Humblewood on this board with markings, arrows, and even trails, like walking trails, or what you would see as roads on Google Maps, for example, leading into the scorched grove. All kind of hitting a central place right in the center of the grove itself. That's what you see on this particular chalkboard.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay. It is the birdfolk skeletons, the servitor skeletons now. The two closest people are still Aurora and Basil, and there's 4 left. So the first 2 are going to try and hit at Aurora.
They take 2d4 damage.
They do take 2d4 damage. Mrs. Q, roll that 2d4 damage for me.
That's 5.
Okay. As they continue to burn, that high-pitched squealing there, still being heard in the room, but they do still kind of push through and leap towards Aurora. That is going to be a 19 and a 13 to hit.
They both hit.
Okay. So you are going to take, as they kind of scratch at you with their talons, you are going to take 12 piercing damage as they
Nice.
scratch out towards you.
As the one that hit harder, let's say the one that hit the 19, as they'll like
Mhm.
cry out, Maitland, help me! And like the spirits from Hades in the movie Hercules, the Disney movie Hercules,
Yeah.
you see ghosts kind of pour off of me and strike back at them using my haunted rebuke.
Okay. Is that a dex save?
Yes.
Okay.
Dex 15.
Doesn't even come close.
So that'll be 2d10 damage. Where's my d10?
10.
Dang.
Clear. 9 points of necrotic damage.
All right.
Let's
as
go.
it, yeah, as the ghosts strike into this other undead creature, and you see the bones kind of shiver for a second. The ghost's almost putting out the fire, just like Hades and Hercules. Almost putting out the fire as the bones or the servitor skeleton sort of takes a step back and just kind of crumbles, bones all akimbo to the floor. The other two still on fire, taking damage, are going after you, Basil. And that's going to be the exact same, a 13 and a 19.
The 19 hits.
19 hits. So that is 4 piercing damage as one of them swings wide, but the other one slashes across the arm holding your weapon, sword. Good God, holding your sword. This thing. Aurora, it is your turn. And then Basil, you're on deck. Oh, I think you're on mute.
After Maitland flies off and attacks the skeletons, it's like, all right, now it's your time to go have fun. And I kind of just point Maitland, just do what you do. And I'll mechanically I'm gonna let Maitland's mischief go as a spell for my action. And
Perfect.
we will see what happens when he does his stuff.
He doesn't drop into the initiative though, right?
No.
He just acts on your turn.
20-foot cube. Anything within... I'll do kind of like the same area to try and hit both of them.
Okay.
And I roll a d4 to see what happens to them.
Okay.
God.
There's 3 left. You can easily get them.
And I pull up my pie crest to point to the area. The burnt pie crest.
Oh my God.
There you go. Because I need to use a material component.
Like moldy by now.
Yeah. The area fills with drops of molasses hovering in the cube space, making it difficult terrain.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they're in difficult terrain now.
And then, you know what? I'm gonna go up and just take a lick of the molasses.
Oh.
It's like super syrupy, like even more syrupy than it should be.
And then I need to step away for a second.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Basil and Apoc.
Can you describe for me, like where am I? Where is Aurora? And where are these skeletons in relation to one another?
Yeah, so it's still the two of you. You are face to face with 3 skeletons who are now trying to fight off molasses. Apoc is, I don't think you ran all the way up.
No,
So.
I'm still outside the room. That was a 60-foot web.
Okay. Apoc, Mrs. Q, and Elle are still 40 feet behind you at the door. 30 to 40 feet behind you at the door.
I think Elle is inside.
She's just inside
Yeah,
the
okay.
door.
Is it possible for me to move to a distance where I am within 5 feet of the skeletons, but further from Aurora?
You're all pretty hand to hand right now. If you wanted, you could move through them to the other side of them in order to capture all 3 within 5 feet, but you would be moving into difficult terrain. So like you could basically be on the opposite side with the 3 forming a line between you and Aurora.
Okay.
That head.
Let me think about this. Okay, how tall are these things?
They are about the size of the rest of your party. Taller than you, but the size of the rest of your party.
Okay, so here's my thinking, all right? So as a Jerbean, I have a base long jump of 30 feet and a base high jump of 15 feet.
Okay.
What are the chances that I could just like flip over them to the other side of this 20-foot terrain?
Easy enough to jump over them, but you'd be landing in you want to get to the other side of the terrain?
Yeah, I have a base long jump of 30 feet.
Okay.
And I can jump 15 feet high. That's just like because I'm a Jerbean.
That will put you outside of 5 feet of the skeletons, though.
Well, that's my maximum. But like, what if I just flipped just to the other side so that I'm still within 5 feet up?
Easy enough to do.
Okay.
Easy enough to do. I would just say give me an acrobatics roll to make sure you land on your feet in difficult terrain. That's all.
Okay.
So give me acrobatics.
Luckily, I have advantage for that. So let's see. Hope that's better. That's a 24.
Yeah, easy enough. You land easy enough.
With
You are
finesse.
successfully on the other side.
And then because of my
how do you have advantage for acrobatics? No, that means you're proficient. That's not advantage.
So you roll 2.
No, you roll 2 if it's an.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Okay, I rolled that wrong.
Reroll.
Just roll one more, take the new one.
I rolled that wrong. That's a 15.
15 again. Yeah, easy enough.
Okay. As I land, just to give some flavor, I imagine like Sir Basil's kind of like almost as if it's like a samurai move. He's gonna like pull his sword in, and then he's gonna do a it's called a sword burst. So it's like you're gonna essentially see like spectral blades kind of like just shoot out of him and attack the skeletons that are 5 feet within him, which around him, which should be all 3.
All right. Yeah.
To do a dex saving throw, but then I assume because they're in, are they impacted because they're in the rough terrain?
Not for dex saves, I don't think. It just makes their movement harder.
Cool.
So what's the DC there for the dex save?
That'll be a 10.
Okay, so the first one, the one still attacking Aurora, saves. Second one saves. And the third one fails.
Okay. That one is going to take 7 damage.
Okay. As that one, after your sword burst, once more is just scattered into bone and even pushed outside of the difficult terrain. There's only 2 left.
And then as a bonus action, Sir Basil's just gonna like yell out to Apoc, aim true and strike hard, and he'll cast help to give advantage.
Okay, you're up, Apoc.
Okay, I pre-rolled my attack, so does a 13 hit?
Yes.
Okay, they both hit.
Okay.
One at each skeleton.
How much damage?
First one is going to be, this is with the piercer bonus, so 10 points of damage.
Okay.
And the second one is going to, that's with Jeremy leading the charge on the tip of an arrow.
Stupid.
Right.
Oops.
Team Jeremy.
Oh, that's not good. Each attack. Maybe we should talk about this later.
Okay.
It's going to be 5 points in the second one.
5 points on the second one?
Yeah.
As you aim true, piercing through one, scattering it to bone, and piercing through the other, and scattering it to bone.
Nice.
the molasses
Yeah.
bubbles still floating around from Maitland. The servitor skeletons, even though Aurora said don't kill them all, have been
Oh, she said
thoroughly
that?
defeated.
I was outside the room. I didn't hear it.
As you sit and kind of catch your breath for a moment in this large, like arched classroom, warm light, writing on the walls or writing on the blackboards, desks and chairs, very much what you would expect to find in this avium. We are going to take a break. So about 5 minutes to come
Cool.
back. The skeletons of the bird folks, again, despite Aurora saying don't kill them, have all been scattered across the floor. The molasses still taking up a 20-foot cube in the very center of this room. What would you guys like to do?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I was in the other room.
Mrs. Q wants to go to the yeah.
I just swallowed half a pretzel whole. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I want to see the desk. I want to go. Mrs. Q wants to walk up to the desk and see what she can see.
All right. As you walk up to the desk, just make me an investigation check since this is a new desk this time.
Is it from the same supplier, the desk, or is it completely?
This one looks to have been shaped out of the wood itself, so not like a flimsy table like the other room. This one actually looks like it was built into the structure of this room.
It's a 15.
15. As you go up to the desk, Mrs. Q, hustling up, avoiding the molasses in the middle of the room, you make it to the desk and you notice the pages, scribbled pages, books, notebooks, it looks like. You do see a few more pages with the necromancy stamp on the corner, the same one that you found. And you see pages that look to have one edge completely torn. Some of them are on the desk, some of them seem to have fallen off the desk. And as you take a look at the pages themselves, well, first and foremost, you recognize some of them as some of the information you were researching in the lower library earlier this evening. As I believe you were one of the people researching the Scorched Grove. And from what you found out, knowing that the Scorched Grove may have been home to elemental creatures or may have been impacted by elemental planes or all of the hypotheses around the Scorched Grove, you find one of the torn pages that mentions something called a great calamity. And as you read through very quickly through this page, holding it in your hand, similar to what Apoc had initially seen, you find reference to an elder elemental being of great magical powers that could be called forth from their home planes to the material plane. And you see mention that no one really knows why the Great Calamity initially occurred. But you see one quote from what is said to be an eyewitness account that reads, "It flared so brightly as it consumed the forest. It turned the burning trees into fuel, gaining power as it devoured them, and left naught but ashes in its wake." And I'll send all of this to you.
Phew, I was frantically writing.
No, that's okay. As you keep reading and keep looking all on this desk, you do find more mentions of elemental creatures. And you find links between, well, the four elements that you know to exist in the world. Air, water, fire, and earth. And you find a reference on one kind of thinner sheet of paper that references something about slowing the creatures down, cooling their cores, encasing them in hard shells of earth and rendering them immobile. Hi, Joanne. And you mentioned this as being one of the only ways to affect this creature. But you also see kind of in scrawled handwriting off to the side in the margins almost. You see temporary written in a scrawling hand. Also, as you flip the page reading about this creature, you do also find in one of the other ripped pages the idea that some of these elder elementals, being the first ofs, have the ability to regenerate or heal on demand, making them very tough to encounter. And you also see that there's theories that this regenerative ability is because they still have a link to their plane of existence.
Okay.
And as you continue looking under the desk with a 15, you're able to find one slip of paper that is almost like have been pulled off of the desk, trailing towards the hole in the wall behind you. You see reference to, well, not even reference to. You see a quote that names something called the aspect of ice. And you read a legend or a hypothesis that this aspect of ice during the Great Calamity was defeated and sealed away, but left behind a single shard of its being on this plane before it was defeated.
Okay.
And as you hold all of these pages in your hands, the ripped, torn pages, some of them you recognize as the ones that you have read through. What is everybody else doing?
I'm gonna collect any of the servitor skeletal bones that are still remaining. So, if I can, like, collect as many as I possibly can.
Yeah, no problem. These servitor skeletons are just a little smaller than Elle. So you would essentially be collecting like 5 L's worth of bones.
I'll collect one L's worth of bones, but make sure I get like, it might be a mix and match, but it'll be a full skeleton.
Perfect. You can easily do so.
Excellent.
It's a L. It's in.
Oh, you set him up for that one.
Apoc, Elle, Basil.
I think Elle is going to continue making her way around looking at the blackboards, noting that she's seen this map on this one. And we'll kind of say, hey, I think there's some stuff on the boards here. And again, it's just not making much sense, but making her way around and looking and taking in what she can.
All right.
Guys, words and stuff.
Yeah, and pictures.
What do you got? What is it? Like, what's on
I don't know. This one looks like a map, and that looks like arrows. And she's just gonna point out like the very obvious things that she sees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you go, you do see one blackboard that appears to have a, like a very crude drawing of a birdfolk skeleton. Although it looks to be almost strange, kind of the way Aurora kind of put together one whole mismatched skeleton. This also appears to be a mismatch of sorts. You can see what appears to be like calculations of some sorts that you don't understand. Aurora, taking a look, you do kind of get the idea that these are like necromantic calculations. Although it's almost unfinished next to this drawing.
Can I Goodwill Hunting it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make me an Arcana check. It is a very high DC, but go ahead.
No.
Guidance!
Oh no!
Guidance won't save anything.
No guidance is gonna save me for that one. I knew it.
I don't think my guidance would be that
Oh.
helpful anyways.
I am gonna use my inspiration.
Go for it.
Nice.
I think, yeah. Gotta use it. Oh, much better. 24.
Oh my god.
19 plus 5.
Okay. You like squint really hard at this, and you can almost feel like a nosebleed coming on, so you shake yourself off before trying again to just look at it like a normal bulbin. And as you do, and you're kind of looking almost at patterns instead of the calculation, each element of this calculation, looking at the drawing, one thing you notice about the drawing is that it appears that this creature, in its demented form, has been created, manufactured in a way, and that the calculation you're looking at is a part of a spell to give this a very specific ability. And as you sort of look on another chalkboard, you can see almost continued notes and calculations of the same sort that look to be almost a testing of something very specific in this creature. And you get the sense that this creature was made for a reason. You don't quite understand, or in this calculation doesn't actually say what this ability might be, but it is something specific, and it's very necromantic in origin.
Guys, just bear with me. I dabble just a bit in the dark arts.
You licked a skeleton.
Just a bit.
And your dad does stuff in dungeons.
What Poppy does is his own business, and I'm not supposed to ask questions.
How many bones have you licked?
So, with necromancy, normally when you like raise like skeletons, it's usually like a raising where you bring whatever's left of the body and animate it. So you're not adding things. What this board almost seems like they're summoning spiritual energy into what they're raising. Like they're bringing more back than what is left, which is kind of like almost like a perversion of necromancy, which is pretty twisted if I say so myself. Like necromancy could be good where you're not letting things go to waste. You're letting the soul kind of either move on and leave what it has left on this world to serve another purpose, or in some cases just bring back those with unfinished business to give them a chance to finish their business. This seems to kind of pull against their will, some sort of part to do something nefarious. This is almost like ghost slavery.
Do you think these were professors?
We're in a classroom.
They're students?
Professors teaching students?
But like the way that like her eyes like droop a little bit and she sways. Like, the way the other skeletons clean, why did these ones attack?
Maybe that's the perversion.
You do get the sense from looking at these calculations and the drawings, this drawing is not of a servitor skeleton.
Does that look like it's meant to clean?
I don't know.
That's in your definition of cleaning.
Could we, like, from the picture that we see and like what we've seen through like scratchings on the tree or stories, could we assume that this might be the creature that backstage?
It's hard to tell from a drawing, but one of and everyone would notice this, Aurora, for sure, as you were studying it, and I should have mentioned, you do see what looks like added claws onto this creature. You do see what looks like almost a sharpened beak of this bird folk. Almost what you see to be like 4 eye sockets, like empty eye sockets. This is a monster.
Ooh.
In the every way, shape, and form that you would think this word would encompass. It does not look natural.
Do I see any like chalk on the board? Like chalk that I can use?
Yep. You do see like normal chalk. You see a package of chalk.
Can I take I have chalk myself. I'll just take a chalk off the board and I'll draw a heart onto the chalkboard creature. Maybe it's just missing a heart.
I mean, now that I see the claws, no, it doesn't look like it cleans. I missed that part earlier.
I'm gonna go
So
check
this
out
is-
this wardrobe.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back into the other room.
Isn't there also a giant hole in the wall?
Correct.
Okay, just double checking.
I missed that one.
So in this room,
BRB.
well, you do have the wardrobe in the other room that you haven't
Yeah.
looked at. You do have the like there's a few more chalkboards. You have the desk that Mrs. Q looked at,
Yeah.
and you do have a like looks to be a chipped away hole in the
Mhm.
wall behind the desk. But are you heading back to the wardrobe?
Yeah, I want to check out this wardrobe. We never looked there. It's been bugging me.
Been bugging you?
Mhm.
If I have time, I'm gonna copy the chalkboard down in my book.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll have the time for that as everyone's doing everything. As you go back into the other room, Apoc, and you go to check out the wardrobe, the door kind of slightly ajar. You just pull open the doors.
Yes. If you don't hear from me in 5 minutes, come get me.
They can see you through the door. Like the wardrobe is facing the room that they're
Okay.
in. So as you go to open up the wardrobe, both of the doors, what you see is a strig, taller, great gray owl face. They look a little bit on the older side, pince-nez glasses on their beak. Lots of rings around
Do
their
they look
face.
alive?
They look to be alive, although they look unconscious. And you see this like a gray mist kind of circling around them. They're in regal robes, looking very Professor-esque. And you see a necklace hanging up beside them.
Can I grab them? Like, will they fall out onto me? Could I, like, fireman carry them over?
They look almost to be like suspended.
Oh.
So,
You wanted a dead body? There's a dead body over here. Nobody?
Mrs. Q,
you-
Mrs. Q,
Come on.
yeah, like grabs all of the papers and then like comes shuffling over to see what you mean.
Can I, while they're walking over, could I just grab the necklace? Like, if it piques my interest? Shiny?
Yeah, it's certainly shiny. It almost looks like a you know what it looks like? It almost looks like that Nazar charm from
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it looks like a
Yeah.
teardrop, a blue teardrop with an eye sort of etched
Cool.
into the charm itself.
Ooh.
And you're able to grab it, no problem. Mrs. Q, as you waddle into the other room, you are immediately struck by the semi-floating, covered or wrapped in gray smoke, Professor Mordain Swiftgale, the librarian of the lower library.
Y'all got me into those berries?
But Mrs. Q's the only one that recognizes him, right?
Mrs. Q and Aurora would both recognize
Okay.
if Aurora is looking, which she is not.
Busy on that Goodwill hunting.
But I know Steph recognizes because of this.
Mrs. Q, she like sort of, as soon as she sees Professor Mordain, she gasps and sort of tries to shuffle over a little faster, but then she notices all of this gray smoke around him and is a little nervous about that and would probably want to look back in her memories to see if she knows anything about,
This type of magic.
yeah, before touching it.
You can make an Arcana check. And Apoc, as you are kind of looking at, well, you're looking at the charm. You're not even looking at the
I pocketed it. I'm not looking at it right now. Apoc's not sure if
Okay.
he'll take it, but he's just hiding it.
Say that again.
12?
12. This doesn't ring a bell to you. This looks to be something that you have not encountered before. But as you are trying to make sense of it and look it over, you do see like Professor Mordain's chest raise and lower, raise and lower, almost as though he is asleep.
Would there be anything that would make me intuit that the necklace has something to do with the whatever charm is on him? Or whatever.
So Apoc took the necklace out, and he said he pocketed it.
Oh,
You don't know
So
about necklace.
you don't know about the necklace.
righto. What can Mrs. Q do? I don't. No. I don't think that would. They're unconscious?
They are unconscious in the idea that they are asleep.
Oh, they just look asleep. I gotta shake them.
You're gonna go ahead and shake him.
Oh, hold up.
You reach your hands.
Apoc.
No.
Apoc. Gently. I cast Bardic Inspiration.
Okay. So as you go to gently shake, you put your hands through this smoke, and you don't necessarily see structure to it. It looks like smoke, but it almost feels like a gelatin as you put your hands through it. And as you go to grab onto the shoulders to gently shake the professor, the smoke sort of moves with his body as you're shaking him back and forth. As in, it doesn't seem like you can pull him out of this.
Y'all know what this is?
Nope.
Hey, Aurora. You got a sec? Chug?
You just... Excuse me?
Yes.
No, excuse me?
I'm just trying something out. I hear the room.
I'm busy. I go back to writing my notes.
There's a... Okay.
What? There's a what? No, finish your sentence. What is there?
I don't know. Maybe like a professor of some sorts floating here in suspended animation. Kind of thought you might be interested.
Is he dead?
Might be.
Insight check.
To make an insight check.
All right, I'll be right over.
I don't know. I don't know if it's persuasion or
There's a nat
disadvantage.
All right, Aurora's coming.
Wait. No, it was a 6.
Okay. So Aurora, you too. You do get the also you get all of this calculation down as these guys have been just muttering around. You do recognize Professor Mordain in this suspended animation state. What do you want to do?
He's in a suspended animated state. I don't know what else I can do here.
Do you know how to get him out of it?
No? This is outside of my expertise. Basil, do you know anything? Mrs. Q, you might be more adept at this than I am.
No, I'm
I've
afraid not.
never seen this type of magic before, so I'm not quite sure what to try.
I'm of no use if he's alive.
Is it a solid, a liquid, or a gas?
So it looks like a gas, but you definitely seem to have touched something. Whoever wants to can roll an Arcana check.
Mine wasn't very good, so
I know what I'd like to
someone should
do.
roll.
I know.
Yeah,
what I could
go
do.
ahead.
While they're figuring it out, I'm going to. How long does this take? Okay, I'm gonna start putting my alphabet board down in front of this guy, professor, and I'm going to place my hand on his temple, and I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Ooh.
And then I use my other hand to draw out on the board what they're saying.
Cool.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean he can't roll because he is conscious. Okay. As you enter the detect thoughts, what you get. This is an unconscious being, not something with a kind of like a dream state where it is scattered. That is what you're reading. But you get flashes of memory almost. You see working in the lower library You see just shelving books. Then the memory fades out, and um, you hear like footsteps coming behind you, and then the memory phases out. You see students that are walking out of the library. You see papers being left behind. You see yourself bending to pick up papers. And then in very, like a sequence of very fast flashes, you see like a flash of black feathers. You see a flash of like white. You see a like a flash of a blue teardrop shape. And you see the last kind of memory that you see is a like sort of distorted, almost the way they do it in movies where the frame kind of elongates itself. You see what looks like an older Corvum face above you that just slowly elongates its face.
I'm just spelling this out for the group, and they can kind of read it as it goes.
But that's what you would
Does
get.
Does the older Corvum face look familiar?
I don't know.
Not at all to Aurora.
No, but this necklace was with them. I pulled out the teardrop.
Ah. Aurora, any idea about this? Does this look like what you just saw?
Possibly. Looks like it. It
You
was
drew
described.
it.
It was described canonically as the same thing.
By what else?
Subtle drive-by. Cool.
I could only intuit that they are the same thing.
Did you want to put it on?
I'd rather not.
Okay.
Now that I see the necklace, would Mrs. Q, with the role she had, like be more likely to know what's going on now that she sees the necklace?
The necklace does not ring a bell, does not look like anything. I mean, sticking with your roll of 12 for Arcana, this is something weird. This is something very weird. I don't think you get much with the 12.
When I met Professor Mordain, do I remember him wearing this necklace? Like, is it his? Would I know? Did I see him with it before?
So you do remember meeting Professor Mordain initially, that he was heavily robed at the time. You can make a wisdom check for me to see. Oh. Just make a wisdom check to see if you can remember.
10.
10? He was really heavily robed at the time. You weren't really focused. It could be. But they definitely seem to be linked, if nothing else.
Okay. Mrs. Q says, I don't know anything about this magic. I have a feeling that this necklace has something to do with this state that he's in. The only two ideas I have are putting the necklace back on him or smashing the necklace.
What about putting it on one of us? He's not wearing the necklace.
Sure, we can try that too.
Yeah. Go right ahead, Shug.
Well, when you talk like that, darling.
Yes, please, more of this.
Can Mrs. Q take it out of Apoc's
If I
hand?
puts it on.
Oh,
Okay. Too late. Too late. You did it.
Before while all this is happening, everyone's in the other room. Ella's gonna have wandered over to the hole by this point. Completely unattended. It's just
Okay. We will get to you in a second, because yes, you were the only one in the classroom.
I'm the only one
Oh.
here. I was left alone.
Overtired kid
finish up.
energy. I love it.
Yep. I'll do you first. As you go and put the necklace on, Apoc. To you, you put the necklace on. So the rest of you in the room, you see Apoc. As soon as the necklace rests on his neck, his form shifts. He grows a bit taller, a bit poofier. Robes turn into the same regal red of the professor as he takes on the visage of Professor Mordain. Glasses, little feathered mustache, deep set, great gray owl eyes, and everything.
Hmm. Apoc, I don't know if you know this, but right now, you look like an owl. In fact, you look like this owl.
Is it you, Apoc?
As you try to talk and say who, your voice comes out deeper than you're used to, sounding very much to you, Mrs. Q, as what Professor Mordain sounded like. Elle. Sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, just that is very curious. That's all.
All right, Elle. Little tired 12-year-old energy here.
Just and just basically like playing hopscotch on the ground without hopscotch. Just jumping around.
As you go jumping around, you kind of like knock into one of the last chalkboards, and as you kind of look up to this one chalkboard, you notice only like one word written on it. Your hand kind of taking off half of the word as you sort of skipped around. You see the word just Borealis written with a handprint of Elle scraped off, but that doesn't mean anything to you. The hole itself, though, as you're getting closer and closer and closer, knocking a little bit of chalk that catches your attention as it tumbles down a set of stairs from the hole. This hole looks to have been almost like smashed out from the wall of this room itself. And as soon as you go to poke your head through, one thing you notice is the like smooth, sheer, almost white of the walls and the staircase. Doesn't look like stone, but it is a smooth, almost giving off like an opalescent in this darkness, dancing off the flames itself. What do you do? It's real pretty.
Well, this looks super pretty. I'm just gonna kind of keep wandering around and looking at it.
So this is in the mouth to the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go down the hole?
A little bit, yeah.
As you walk down the hole, couple stairs, keeping an eye, it almost seems to give off its own glow. This like bleach white of this. Beneath your feet, and as you put a hand out, it is smooth as it can be. And you find yourself very easily able to see the stairs in front of you without any torchlight, as there is no torchlight here. But at the bottom of the stairs, probably about 20 or so steps below you, you see a warm red glow, something that doesn't resemble the opalescence of the stairwell.
It's like I thought you were going to say you see two red eyes just staring right back up at you. Oh, damn.
What do you do, Elle?
She's gonna kind of yell over her shoulder, "Hey, there's something down here!" Would she know if anyone heard her or not?
Well, you're at this point, you're about like 80 feet away. Like that's in an echoey cavern. So you get the sense anything down here and behind you probably heard you. And you do hear a like from below you.
Hey
So we
guys! Just again. Hey!
So do we hear?
Hey guys! Just she's kind of like yelling now.
All right, you all hear this, and with each yell, Elle, that's fun. You do hear kind of more of this like a scraping. You hear some footsteps. You hear a muffled, just like almost like a groan or a grunt coming from below you. Between yells, you all hear Elle. Her voice is like echoing through this hall or this classroom towards you.
Did the
Steph-
yells get more like
Panicky?
yeah. Do we think something's wrong?
I,
Or is
I
she
don't even
just
think
yelling?
I'm gonna wonder. I'm just gonna snap my book and start running.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they sounded the way Elle said them, so that's what you heard.
She's way too far away. We need to go find that little whippersnapper.
So Basil's gonna follow suit.
Yep.
Same thing, just like cautious. His hand has not left his sword.
Yeah.
Apoc, take
We
that damn
go
necklace
running.
off and come with us.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to interrupt, but yeah, I'm taking it off first and then running.
Okay.
Because I feel like these old bones probably can't run that fast.
All right, yeah, as you all take off running, it's gonna be, a round or two before you make it to Elle.
Oh, we can dash.
It'll be 1 round to make it 80 feet.
2.
1 or 2 rounds. Elle, as you are standing about halfway down this staircase, you do hear the sounds of your friends' feet coming towards you. Okay, super loose. What do you do?
Hearing that people are coming, I take like, they'll be here. But I do get a bit of a sense that something might be going down.
Yeah,
Oh fuck, that's a second level spell. I can't even do that. Okay, well, I figure they're on their way, and I'm just gonna take a couple more steps down the stairs.
Okay. You take a couple more steps down the stairs. And from, so you're about, 3/4 of the way down this staircase now. Your feet beneath you almost kind of glowing on this white. As you are that low, you're able to almost kind of lean down to be able to see through an arch. An archway opening built out of this white solid structure. And as you sort of take a peek down, you see what looks like built out of the same kind of opalescent material. You see a larger room, nothing close to the classroom above you, maybe about 20 by 30 feet. You see from your vantage point one table in the far corner of the room, although you can't quite see the whole room. And you see what looks like bone covering this table, different sizes, different shapes. You see almost like a smoke or something kind of filtering, sort of hanging around the top of the room. And you see standing in the very middle of the room, facing you, facing the staircase, this large skeletal creature, very similar to what you saw as the drawing on the chalkboard. You see 2 large bird folk skulls that have almost been one inverted into the other to form this like double billed skull. You see like long skeletal wing bones clawed at the end, and very much like a velociraptor kind of stance, a long tail extending out behind it. And as it kind of turns to look up at you, you see red eyes, 2 on each side, staring at you. Or it opens its bill and lets out this screech that echoes throughout the chamber. That's one round. What are you all doing?
Still running.
As I hear the screech,
He's touching that bottle.
I think you see my fur start to crystallize over. My teeth start to almost crystallize over as well, and they grow a little longer, a little sharper, and they're like a sapphire blue. My eyes, which are normally a piercing light blue, get a little bit darker. The sclera also turns kind of a crystal blue. And yeah, I just like, I seem more terrifying than usual.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Skin start like the fur starts to sparkle with all the.
Love it. Apoc, Basil, this round you will make it to the top of the staircase to see Elle, but you do not yet see her, as a heads up.
Question. So I have 30 feet of movement, but I can also jump really far. So what if I like move my 30 feet and then jumped? Could I do my full however far I can jump added to my distance?
I would say like it would
So I'm leaping down the stairs.
I mean, a leap is still, it's still counted as movement. So that could, a leap would be part of your action. So you could make it 60 feet this round, which means you could make it, yeah, almost a little bit behind Elle, but almost to her.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we hold actions while we're moving?
You can, but then, you know, if you want to dash, you can move, 60 feet. But if you want to hold an action and move, you can only move 30 feet. Essentially, you can either use your action to do something or to run.
I see.
Ooh.
Okay.
Can I action dash? Because the skeletal,
Sure.
the glistening thing was
Bonus action. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, Aurora with that would actually make it to the top of the stairs. Basil would make it to the top of the stairs. Elle is still about 20 feet below you on the stairs.
Cool.
So Apoc and Mrs. Q just need to know if you're dashing or doing an action and running.
Dash.
Okay.
Yeah, dash as well.
So you all make it to see Elle, who's just sort of la-di-da. The white of the walls actually looking quite familiar to all of you except for Elle and Aurora.
Wait, we're at the top of the stairs?
You're at the top of the stairs.
We hear this, but we don't see anything.
You hear this massive screech, but from where you are, you don't see the creature.
Okay.
But you do see Elle, who's just standing halfway down the stairs, la-di-da-ing. From your vantage point, in addition to this creature, you do see movement behind the creature, Elle. The red lights kind of pulsing almost from here.
Elle, get back up here.
What do you do?
I think I found it. But she's also gonna cast Gust Barrier on herself.
Okay.
I don't. It's a cantrip, and I don't think it's necessarily an attack or anything. But it's she just puts like this windy embrace around herself. It's like a little bit of protection against attacks because she knows something's about to happen.
Okay. And do you back up, or are you standing your ground?
I only have 15 feet of movement, so maybe a little, but she's definitely not going back up the stairs. Can she tell how far?
Almost to the top of the stairs with 15 feet, if you want.
How far away? Like, I'm definitely not going to go forward. I might move back a little bit, but I'm not going to be going up the stairs.
Okay. I mean, you can move back a couple stairs if you want. Otherwise, you are like 3/4 of the way down.
would Elle be able to tell if she's in range of getting hit by this thing?
You have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, and because of that, she's not going to move. She doesn't have a good sense of what could happen. Even just with the last battle she was in, it was against a creature that she couldn't even tell was coming. So at this point, she just wants to go to bed. So
Right. As Elle stands her ground, you see this creature, after letting out the scream, kind of close its bill, and again, very, very predator-esque, almost kind of hop on the spot from foot to foot. And you hear a voice, a very gruff, low voice, kind of shout out, "Just leave. It won't hurt you if you leave." You can all hear this.
Do we recognize the voice?
Not at all. I will say that you can do one more thing before we'll have to pick up next time. Aurora, do you have something you'd like to
I'd
do?
like to go later in the order.
This is very loose. Like we're doing the group that was running, Elle, and then the whatever's in the final room, this lower room.
Okay.
So Basil, Mrs. Q, and Apoc.
Mrs. Q goes straight to Elle and like tries to be in the step in front of her, like put her behind myself.
Yeah, I would assume Basil would have the same idea of getting in front of Elle, so that's like as if he's like going to shield her. And he'd probably go into like Hulk mode.
You're gonna go into Hulk
just-
mode, okay?
Just be ready.
Apoc, Aurora.
Now can we see it?
If
Like, if we
you
move
if you
forward?
make your way down to Elle, you can see it. How big does Hulk mode make you?
That's a great question. If you are smaller than large, you become large, along with anything you're wearing. If you left the room, become large, your size doesn't change. So I'm large, I guess.
Do you become large? Okay, just making sure. It's a little bit of a tighter squeeze in this tunnel, and you certainly are taking up the majority of it at this point. Apoc, Aurora.
I move 20 feet, cast Hunter's Mark on it, take a shot, and then move back.
You're gonna take a shot? Okay, go ahead and take a shot.
Bonus action
Perfect.
Hunter's
I,
Mark.
I love that. I love that. That's exactly.
So it's marked. I get 2 attacks on my turn when I take the attack action.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 19 and a nat 20.
Holy smokes!
So
Okay.
so a 28 and a 29 to hit.
Yes, those definitely hit.
I'm gonna roll my 20 first because with Piercer, I actually add an extra die plus doubling. So I roll an additional d8. You roll it, so that's gonna be it's doubled, right?
So for crit, yes.
Yeah. That's going to be 11, 14, 28 plus 4. So that's 32 points of piercing damage on my first
Woo!
attack.
Okay.
And then on the second attack, it is going to be 10 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. I forgot to add something. So it's also marked now. The Hunter's Mark is an extra d6. So add 10 to the first one.
Holy.
And 3 to the second one.
How is it an extra d6 and you add 10? Oh, because it was
It was a
double.
crit. Yeah.
And how much to the second one?
3. Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
As you see this magnificent arrow engulf in Jeremy's. They're all Jeremy's at this point.
King.
Travel down towards the beast. And then a second smaller arrow trail behind it.
Okay. Aurora.
I'm gonna look Apoc dead in the eyes as I yell out to the creature down below. We're not scared of this thing. I've licked more bones than I could even remember. That's all I
Apoc
got.
just winks back.
That's it.
That's it.
Cool.
All right. Elle, your last action for this session.
Last action, eh?
So you had Mrs. Q and Basil push by, Basil going Hulk. Apoc just pushing by to quickly cast a spell and shoot 2 arrows. You hear the screeching of this thing as the arrows strike true. In your exhausted moment, knowing exactly that being the first one to see face to face what this thing is, what do you do?
I'm in a basement, right?
You're on a staircase right now.
I'm on a staircase.
And you currently don't actually have visual on this thing, not with Big Basil in the way.
Sorry.
That's okay. Oh, I can't even do that because I have no second level spells. Okay, there's really not too much Elle can do. She's just gonna kind of look around and say like, "Hey, the gang's all here," and like again, exhausted. Kind of just like walk up beside Mrs. Elle and like, for lack of better things, like just puts up her fist, like she's ready. That's all she's gonna do, because that's all she can do.
As you do so, getting kind of a glimpse of the macabre sort of laboratory inside, all of you finally coming face to face with this red-eyed creature. The creature taking the arrows, seeing the aggression from Basil, and as it is sort of moving around, taking the hit and standing up to its full height, it is, even in your big form, Basil, looking down at you as it screeches once more before charging towards the staircase. We're going to start next session with an initiative roll.
Damn.
Yet again.
Very nice.
Woo! And just for fun, this is what he looks like.
We have a photo? Amazing.
But add a couple
Whoops.
arrows in it.
That's me. There we go.
That's you.
Well, the camera was facing me.
Oh.
Oh no. She's put herself in the game. Ooh.
Technically, Sean put all of us in the game when he named some of us after fleas.
Yeah, we're named after fleas, so.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Oh no,